How did a currency once tethered to the gold standard transform into a global powerhouse? Join us as we embark on a journey through time, exploring the twists and turns that led to the US dollar's unparalleled control over the world. In the captivating annals of global finance, a seemingly unassuming piece of paper adorned with the visages of revered founding figures holds the key to an intricate tale of power and influence that spans continents. As we unravel the story of the US dollar, we find ourselves at the crossroads of history, where the aftermath of World War II left nations shattered, economies in ruins, and leaders desperately searching for a beacon to guide the world towards stability. Imagine the world in 1944 as delegates from war-weary nations convened at the historic Bretton Woods Conference. Against a backdrop of post-war chaos, this gathering birthed the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, laying the foundation for a new world order. Amidst the deliberations, an unexpected protagonist emerged: the US dollar. It was here that the dollar, backed by the gold standard, became the linchpin of the international monetary system, shaping the destiny of global economic transactions. The Bretton Woods Agreement pegged major currencies to the dollar, and in turn, the dollar was pegged to gold. This arrangement bestowed unprecedented authority upon the United States, positioning it as the world's economic powerhouse. The dollar's supremacy reached new heights in 1971, when President Richard Nixon unilaterally abandoned the gold standard, ushering in the era of fiat currency. The world now witnessed the birth of a new monetary paradigm, one in which the US dollar wielded unparalleled influence. The next chapter in this story unfolds with the establishment of the petrodollar system in the early 1970s. In a strategic move, the Nixon administration forged a pact with Saudi Arabia, anchoring the petrodollar system. Under this agreement, Saudi Arabia agreed to price its oil exclusively in US dollars in exchange for military protection and arms sales. This accord extended to other OPEC nations, creating an insatiable global demand for dollars. The petrodollar phenomenon not only solidified the dollar's status as the world's primary reserve currency, but also elevated its influence to unprecedented heights. As globalization gained momentum, the US dollar's role expanded beyond mere trade and finance. International transactions, commodities, and even sovereign debt became inexorably tied to the greenback. Nations worldwide began accumulating vast reserves of US dollars, considering it a safe haven asset. The sheer ubiquity of the dollar in global trade meant that countries had to maintain substantial reserves to facilitate transactions and protect against economic volatility. This phenomenon, known as dollarization, inadvertently rendered nations susceptible to the ebb and flow of US economic policies. In wielding the power of the dollar, the United States found itself in a unique position to influence global affairs. Sanctions and trade restrictions became potent tools of diplomacy, as the US could leverage its control over the international financial system to exert pressure on nations that deviated from its interests. The mere threat of restricting access to the dollar could cripple economies and force compliance with US policy objectives. In this way, the US dollar became a geopolitical weapon, shaping the course of nations far beyond its borders. However, as the 21st century dawned, whispers of a shifting paradigm echoed through the corridors of global finance. The emergence of alternative currencies and the push for a multipolar world order raised questions about the enduring dominance of the US dollar. China's ascent as an economic powerhouse brought forth the notion of the renminbi as a potential challenger, while cryptocurrencies promised a decentralized future. Nevertheless, the inertia of the existing system, coupled with the vested interests of nations holding substantial dollar reserves, posed formidable barriers to any swift transition. The story of how the US dollar controls the world is one of historical intricacies, geopolitical maneuvers, and economic symbiosis. From the rubble of World War II to the intricacies of the petrodollar system and the challenges of a changing global landscape, the narrative weaves a tale of a currency that not only facilitates trade, but also exerts unparalleled influence over the destinies of nations. As the future unfolds, the role of the US dollar remains a dynamic force, shaping the contours of the world's economic and geopolitical stage.